When I started this channel, there was one thing that I wanted to talk about, and that was Power Rangers. I started off watching Dino Thunder, and the rest is history. My siblings and I used to pretend we were Rangers all the time, and I even remember most of the morphing sequences. I haven't really followed the show since Operation Overdrive, since they are written for 4-year-olds, but the Boom Studio comics have really reinvigorated my love for this franchise. It's everything I could have wanted in more mature Power Rangers and more. With the recent news of how Into the Effing World creator Jonathan Entwistle is creating an expansive Power Rangers universe for Netflix and the big screen, and how the comics are still continuing to fire on all cylinders, I believe in 2022 and beyond, we are really entering the golden age of Power Rangers for adults.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Power Rangers has an extremely rich history. It's a show everyone has seen in their childhood, and it's always surprised to see it still on air as an adult. When Power Rangers first hit the scene in late 1993, it was a mega hit. Crazy ratings, tons of merch, and even 2 major motion pictures. Some would say that was the golden age of Power Rangers, and I partially agree that it will be really hard to top the cultural phenomenon that Power Rangers was in the 90s. But in my opinion, that was the golden age for children. Now it's time to age Power Rangers up. I've always thought that Power Rangers had the potential to go beyond just a kids show. It has decades of lore to explore, with over 60 planets, over 25 different teams, time traveling, multiverse plots, and more already built into the canon. Previous shows have scratched the surface of this potential with the Zordon era back in the 90s and the yearly crossover episodes, but the show's target audience of 4 to 6 years old will always hold it back from fully embracing the lore to keep things simple. But there is already a Power Rangers property that is showing how good aged up Power Ranger stories can be. The Boom Studio comics are telling advanced stories and have been very successful both from a financial and from a critical reception standpoint. The comics have introduced new Rangers, explored numerous planets, and have really examined the pressure Rangers feel of fighting an intergalactic war while trying to live a normal teenage life. The 2018 Shattered Grid storyline is arguably the best storyline in Power Rangers history. It was Avengers Endgame before Endgame. Seriously, the comics have allowed for deeper characterizations of iconic characters and pushed the Rangers to the brink both emotionally and physically. Currently, there are 2 concurrent main books exploring 2 different Ranger teams. There is a new book coming out in December 2021 exploring untold stories of the Power Rangers universe, such as the origins of the Phantom Ranger, and there is even a crossover coming in 2022 where the Rangers meet Godzilla. If you aren't reading the comics, I highly recommend. Now, the comics are great and demonstrate how great more mature Power Ranger stories can be, but the recent Netflix deal is what is going to propel Power Rangers into the golden age. Director Jonathan Entwistle is spearheading an expansive Power Rangers universe that will live on Netflix. Hasbro's president of global television, Michael Lombardo, said in a recent interview that this will be a, quote, whole world approach. Not just one show, but shows followed by films and some kids programming, end quote. That sounds awesome. And the key thing to note is that Lombardo distinctly noted that some content will be for kids, which implies that the other shows mentioned will be aimed at older audiences, which I predict will be similar to the PG-13 tone of the 2017 Power Rangers film if I had to guess. Hasbro has even mentioned an animated series which I would love. Superhero animation has really taken off in the past couple years, and I would love to see Power Rangers take a stab at it. Additionally, Netflix is a great place to house Power Rangers because their business model relies on volume of content, and as I said before, Power Rangers has a deep lore to provide that. And Power Rangers isn't just staying on Netflix. It seems the interconnected shows will funnel into a movie experience a la the MCU style. Entwistle and Titans writer Brian Edward Hill are currently working on movie stuff, so it seems the creative behind the scenes are full steam ahead creating this universe, and I can't wait. With both the shows and the movies, it will be really interesting to see how much this new universe relies on Japanese footage and costumes, or how much of it will be original stuff. This will all be very telling as images and trailers come out in the future. Power Rangers has always been seen as somewhat corny with its spandex and giant robots. Well, if the superhero boom we're in right now tells us anything, it's that superpowered beings fighting in costumes isn't as corny as we thought it was. Between the comics, the new visual media direction, and oh yeah, Power Rangers has a pretty solid fighting game out too. For us 90s babies who are all grown up, but still clamor for more Power Rangers, it's no better time to be a fan. If you're still watching, thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. I had a great time making this and have some ideas for some more Power Rangers content going forward, especially revolving around the comic book series, so stay tuned if you enjoy that. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, and in the comments down below, let me know who your favorite Power Rangers team is. If I had to choose a team, my favorite would probably be either Ninja Storm or Dino Thunder. I kind of grew up in that Disney era where there was like 3 Rangers and then they added the 2, so I would say those are my favorite. But let me know in the comments down below who your favorite is, and I'll see you next time.